Tonight's project. Look at that. Don't work. Somebody tried to break into my Jeep and broke my door, so I gotta fix my door. Repair shop wanted $200. I'm gonna take it apart myself, see if I can save some money, put it back together. As with any job, I believe in starting out with the correct tools, so let's show what we're going to be using right here. This is a Red Wings cup holder. The best thing about this cup holder is it's magnetic. Next thing you need is a magic beverage. Not using the beer driver today, I'm just using the standard old can. There you go. Sticks there just like magic. I'm also using a Husky brand El Cheapo ratcheting screwdriver. Black & Decker screwdriver bit kit. And one of my favorites would be my Rayovac Sportsman Extreme AA, 2AA flashlight. So let's get to work here. I'm going to be tearing this door apart. So I know this piece is going to have to come off, and I know this piece is going to have to come off. I'm assuming that's held together with a pin. We're going to find out with a flashlight in a minute. And then there's just a few little torque screws that I got to pull out, and I'm assuming that's going to slide out. And I don't think I'm going to have to pull that off. But we're going to find out here in a minute. Never tore one of these apart before. After pulling out this screw and taking a peek in here, looks like this piece maybe doesn't have to come out, which is alright with me. So I'm going to put it back in there, and I'm just going to partially place that screw back in there to hold it in place. And then we'll move on down to the window crank. Well, I wasn't able to get that off there yet, but I didn't spend a lot of time on it. But I'm hoping that maybe if I break this loose, I'll be able to get some more room in there. I can't really see what's going on down in there. I'm expecting there's some type of C-clip or something I got to pull out, but I did take out 1, 2, 3 of these torque screws, and then I'm slowly popping the door off. It's got a bunch of these one-time use snaps on it, which maybe I'll get to use again, who knows. And so I'm going to continue popping this thing apart, and maybe then I can see what's going on with that crank. Should have probably looked this up on the internet, what the proper way to take this off was, but I didn't even think about it. I wasn't even thinking about fixing it until I was on my way home from work, so I'm gonna start taking it apart. Got most of the snaps undone. It appears this handle will have to come off. I can see it if I look through the end of the door in there, if I peel this out a little bit, so you can see that is gonna have to go, so I'm gonna take care of that. Alright, got it off. There was a pin in there just like I suspected. Pretty common for these, but hey, this is supposed to be a Jeep. Why can't you make it easy to work on? Maybe a simple screw in the middle would have been sufficient. Just another example of a Chrysler product. Alright, next I'm going to carefully take off this rubber or plastic. It's just clear, like a vapor barrier. I'm going to try not to rip it so I can put it back on. Alright, I got the side thing off, and also got the plastic barrier off there, so now I'm going to crank the window back up and take a look at that, what's going on with that piece that's broke and why it's not opening the door anymore. Okay, looking up in there, looks that really all that's happened was this piece right here is supposed to be in front of this, well, see that piece that's moving it? So all I have to do is either bend that or see if I can pull that apart and straighten it out real quick. I'd rather not bend it. I think I'd try to take the, looks like that assembly might come apart. But yeah, it looks like someone just pulled on that really hard to try to break into here, and they just popped that out of joint. It looks like you put it back in and we're good to go. Alright, got everything fixed. I'm going to start putting it back together. Probably the hardest thing about this whole job was taking that window crank off and probably putting it back on. So we'll get back to work. I probably only got maybe I don't know, 10 minutes of actual working on this thing so far. I've been kind of putzing around. So I noticed that I got some weather stripping that I think last winter got froze to the door. and it pulled off a little bit, so I'm gonna fix that before I put this whole thing back together. Might as well do it right. So the stripping has a channel. You can't really see it in the back, but there's a channel that the back side of it slides up into, and then there's a channel that the front slides up into. So it's hard to do one-handed, but what you have to do is you have to twist this up in there, and then so you got the back part of it in the channel where it belongs, and then you can just simply take a screwdriver, and coax it up in there that way. So I'm going to continue on with this, and we'll get her fixed up real quick. Okay, so this was pretty cooperative, and it went on back on there pretty easy. So the next thing is I'm going to put that vapor barrier that belongs back up here back on. I carried that in the garage to keep it clean, so I'll throw that back on and be on our water barriers back on. Took exactly about 35 seconds. I flattened it out as best I could. Obviously it's not going to seal up as good as it was originally, but I think once I put the door panel on, it'll flatten out and seal up as good as it's going to seal up. So the next thing is a little bracket that I have to stick on back there. Holds the door closure, the little handle thing. So that's just 4 Phillips screws real quick. Goes on. Alright, this part is back in. Just 4 little screws. Important to make sure that your little clips here for the screws that you're going to put on later are in place. And next part is the side panel for the door, the big plastic panel. Boy, it'd be a real opportune time to paint that if I had the right color paint right now, but I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it back on there. Panel went back on pretty easy. It's all snapped on tight. I'm going to put the couple screws that go in there. Then there's 3 screws that go around here, 1 down there, a couple over here. And last fall I'll put that little window cranker back on. Here's the way it goes back together. Remember, I'm not reading the directions. You put that pin on there part way, then you put your other little rings on there. There's another inner ring and that ring. And then you slide it on there, and once you get it back in the spot where it's popped in, you just heard it pop, you take a screwdriver and you reach down in there and you push the pin all the way down. So I'll take care of that in a minute and we'll be done. Okay, the pin clicked, and as you can see, it's not going anywhere. The window rolls up, window rolls down. This panel's on tight, it's not going anywhere. Pull on it, the latch here works, and most importantly, I can open the door from the outside. Life is good. And it was a 2-beer project. There you go, 2-beer project. My mechanic told me it was going to be $200. So, pretty happy with the payback on this one. Y'all have a great day.